Discovering Jean-Jacques Rousseau, enlightening facts about his life and legacy. Born in Geneva in 1712, Jean-Jacques Rousseau emerged as a pivotal Enlightenment figure, weaving through the fabric of political and social discourse with his revolutionary ideas. His upbringing in the Swiss city laid the groundwork for a philosophical journey that would challenge the status quo, positioning him as a catalyst for change. Rousseau authored The Social Contract, a masterpiece that championed political equality and freedom. Through this influential work, he proposed that governments should express the general will of the people, a radical notion that turned heads and stirred debates across Europe. His writings became the bedrock for democratic principles, reshaping political thought. Despite his intellectual prowess, Rousseau's personal life was fraught with difficulties, including tumultuous family relations. These struggles painted a complex picture of a man whose profound insights into society and governance contrasted sharply with the turmoil and estrangement he faced in his private life. He introduced the concept of the ignoble savage, arguing that humans are inherently good but become corrupted by the complexities of society. This idea not only challenged contemporary views on human nature but also laid the foundation for later debates on morality, civilization, and inherent human goodness. Emile, or on education, marked a significant departure from traditional educational thought, emphasizing the importance of catering to individual needs and developmental stages. Rousseau's innovative approach to education championed a more natural and nurturing process, influencing pedagogical methods and theories that continue to resonate today. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's revolutionary ideas laid the groundwork for the French Revolution, challenging the established order and promoting principles of freedom and equality. His writings inspired a generation to rethink governance, advocating for a society where power truly belonged to the people. This vision of a just society resonated deeply, fueling a desire for radical change. The Social Contract was not just a treatise, it was a beacon for political reform. Rousseau argued that political equality and freedom were not mere ideals, but tangible goals. His assertion that government is a contract between rulers and the people redefined the relationship between the governed and their governors, influencing the development of modern political thought. However, Rousseau's life was marred by personal turmoil. Despite his profound insights into the nature of society and governance, he struggled with strained family relationships. This troubled personal life contrasted sharply with his public intellectual persona, presenting a complex figure whose philosophical contributions were at odds with his private failings. Rousseau introduced the concept of the ignoble savage, a radical idea suggesting that humans are born inherently good but become corrupted by the influence of society. This notion challenged prevailing beliefs about human nature and civilization, suggesting a return to simplicity and purity to regain our lost virtue. His work Emile, or on education, revolutionized how we think about education, emphasizing the importance of catering to individual needs and natural development. Rousseau advocated for a new approach to learning, one that respected the innate goodness and potential within every child, laying the foundation for modern educational philosophies. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, despite his groundbreaking contributions to political philosophy and education, found himself in the throes of exile. His writings, which challenged the status quo and advocated for radical changes in society and governance, were deemed controversial. This led to significant portions of his life being spent away from his homeland, living as an outsider looking in. The irony of a thinker whose ideas on the social contract and individual freedom would later influence revolutions, living much of his life in isolation, is poignant. Rousseau's belief in the innate goodness of humanity and his critique of private property as a source of inequality put him at odds with the powerful elites of his time. His radical propositions, especially those concerning the origins and functions of societal constructs, were met with resistance and hostility. This animosity forced Rousseau to lead a life marked by movement and uncertainty, seeking refuge where his thoughts would not lead to persecution. His ideas on governance, emphasizing a direct and harmonious relationship between the government and the people, were revolutionary. Rousseau's vision of a society where the general will guides decisions was groundbreaking, yet it also contributed to his alienation. The concept threatened the established order, leading to further estrangement from the communities he sought to improve. Rousseau's exploration of modern society's pitfalls did not end with political theory. He delved into the effects of scientific progress and rationalism, critiquing their impact on human morality and social bonds. This skepticism towards the Enlightenment's embrace of reason over emotion further isolated Rousseau from his contemporaries, who viewed his ideas as backward and regressive. His later years were shadowed by paranoia, a byproduct of the constant conflict and rejection he faced. Rousseau believed himself to be the target of conspiracies, reflecting the tumultuous relationship he had with society. This sense of persecution, whether real or imagined, highlights the tragic disconnect between Rousseau's vision for a more equitable world and the reality of his personal life. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's exploration into the origins of language in his essay on the origin of languages presented a groundbreaking idea: language emerged from human emotions rather than practical necessities. This perspective underscored Rousseau's belief in the primacy of feeling and sentiment over cold, analytical reason, suggesting a deeply humanistic origin of communication. Rousseau's views on religion, particularly his advocacy for a civil religion, were as complex as they were innovative. In The Social Contract, he proposed a belief system that would unify society under a set of shared beliefs, devoid of dogmatic sectarianism. This concept aimed to strengthen the social fabric while ensuring individual freedom of conscience. His influence extended far beyond the realm of political philosophy, touching the hearts and minds of Romantic writers and philosophers like Goethe and Kant. Rousseau's emphasis on emotion, nature, and the critique of rationalism resonated with the Romantic movement, offering a new lens through which to view human experience and creativity. In his first discourse, Rousseau controversially argued that the arts and sciences contributed to moral decay, challenging the Enlightenment's celebration of progress. He believed that these pursuits, while advancing knowledge, also fostered vanity, inequality, and moral corruption, diverting humanity from its natural goodness and simplicity. Despite his critique of society and civilization, Rousseau remained a fervent advocate for the intrinsic value of nature. He saw in nature both a refuge from the ills of society and a source of profound moral and aesthetic inspiration. This appreciation for nature would not only influence his own work but also lay the groundwork for the environmental movements that followed, highlighting his enduring legacy in advocating for a harmonious relationship with the natural world. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's influence reaches far beyond the realms of philosophy and political theory, touching the core of music, literature, and education. His novel ideas on the natural goodness of humanity and the corrupting influence of society resonated through these fields, challenging conventional norms and inspiring a re-evaluation of the human condition. In the sphere of music, Rousseau himself was a talented composer, showcasing his belief in the purity and emotional depth of artistic expression. Though less celebrated for these contributions, his musical works embody the same principles of simplicity and naturalness that define his philosophical works, offering a unique lens through which to understand his broader impact. Rousseau's revolutionary thoughts on education, particularly through Emile or On Education, have left an indelible mark. By emphasizing the development of the individual according to their innate needs and potential, Rousseau laid the groundwork for modern educational thought, advocating for a system that respects and nurtures the natural progression of human growth. However, Rousseau's life was marked by controversies that mirrored the paradoxes in his work. His decision to abandon his own children starkly contrasts his advocacies for family and education. This enigmatic aspect of his character has puzzled scholars and critics, adding a layer of complexity to his legacy. Despite his groundbreaking contributions, Rousseau faced persecution and exile, highlighting the contentious nature of his ideas. Forced to flee to England with the help of David Hume, his works were banned in France and Geneva, a testament to the radical challenge they posed to the status quo. This period of his life underscores the profound impact of his thoughts, which continue to inspire and provoke debate to this day. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's exploration of freedom laid the groundwork for multiple political ideologies, transcending the confines of his era to influence liberal, conservative, and socialist theories alike. His nuanced understanding of freedom as both a personal and collective endeavor challenged the status quo, offering a vision that was as radical as it was compelling. Rousseau's writings significantly shaped the fields of anthropology and sociology, offering insights into the human condition that were groundbreaking. By examining the origins of inequality and the social contracts that govern human societies, he provided a framework for understanding the complex dynamics of human interactions and institutions. Skeptical of the Enlightenment's unyielding faith in reason, Rousseau championed the importance of emotion and instinct. This perspective not only broadened the philosophical discourse of his time but also introduced a counter-narrative to the prevailing notions of progress and rationality, emphasizing a more holistic understanding of human nature. Rousseau's innovative ideas on education, especially those outlined in Emile or on education, have left a lasting impact on educational practices and philosophies. His emphasis on catering to the individual needs and development of children inspired movements towards homeschooling and alternative education, challenging conventional schooling methods. Despite his philosophical advocacy for children's education, Rousseau's personal detachment from raising his own children stands as a paradox. This dissonance between his theoretical ideals and personal actions provides a complex layer to his legacy, reflecting the intricacies and contradictions that often accompany profound thinkers. In the heart of Geneva stands Rousseau Island, a serene tribute to one of its most provocative sons, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. This lush oasis serves as a symbol of his enduring legacy, inviting visitors to reflect on the profound impact of his thoughts on nature, society, and individual freedom. Rousseau's advocacy for direct democracy resonates in today's political discourses, influencing contemporary movements and theories. His belief in the power of the general will and the importance of a government that truly reflects the people's desires continues to inspire political thinkers and activists striving for a more inclusive and participatory governance. Buried in the Pantheon in Paris, Rousseau's final resting place is among France's most revered figures. This honor underscores the monumental shift in perception from controversy to admiration, marking his transition from a figure of contention to one of national pride. His interment here is a testament to his lasting influence on French thought and beyond. Rousseau's ideas profoundly influenced the leaders of the French Revolution, such as Robespierre and Saint-Just, who saw in his writings a blueprint for a society based on liberty, equality, and fraternity. His concepts of the general will and popular sovereignty provided the ideological foundation for the revolutionary changes that swept through France. Contrasting sharply with Thomas Hobbes' view of mankind, Rousseau believed in the inherent goodness of humans, corrupted by society. This optimistic perspective on human nature not only set him apart from his contemporaries but also laid the groundwork for the modern environmental movement, emphasizing a harmonious relationship between humanity and the natural world. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's profound connection with nature has left an indelible mark on the environmental movement. His advocacy for a life in harmony with the natural world contrasts starkly with the industrial progress of his time. Rousseau's belief in the inherent goodness of man and the corrupting influence of society finds resonance in today's quest for sustainable living and environmental conservation. Rousseau's writings on freedom and equality transcend the boundaries of his era, inspiring civil rights movements across the globe. His vision of a society where all individuals are seen as equals in the eyes of the law has fueled campaigns for justice and equity, showing that his ideas remain as relevant and revolutionary today as they were in his time. Despite his genius, Rousseau often found himself at odds with other Enlightenment thinkers, most notably Voltaire. His radical ideas, which challenged the status quo and questioned the very foundations of society, sparked intense debate and criticism. Yet, it was this very audacity to question and critique that cemented Rousseau's place in the annals of philosophical thought. Living in poverty and isolation for much of his life, Rousseau's personal experiences deeply influenced his philosophical inquiries and conclusions. His reflections on society, education, and human nature were not abstract musings, but were rooted in the trials and tribulations of his own life. This personal connection to his work adds a layer of authenticity and depth that continues to captivate readers. Today, Rousseau's legacy as a philosopher, writer, and thinker remains a source of inspiration and debate. His radical ideas challenge us to reconsider our views on freedom, education, and the nature of society. As new generations discover his works, Rousseau continues to provoke thought and inspire change, proving that his influence is as powerful and relevant as ever.